All right. Hey, gang. Hopefully everybody is here. The sync on the video is going crazy today. So I've had to reset it like 5 or 6 times. It just keeps on bopping all over the place. So do me a favor and let me know how it is. If it starts getting out of sync, that would be good. So I just want to say hello to folks, and then we'll get out the guitar and wait a little bit. Hey, David. Hey, GMAC. Good to see you both. GMAC coming on time. Hey, Frank, Ozman5151. Good to see you. Anyone check out the Firefly guitars yet? I haven't had a chance. El Rondo. Hey, Robbie Love. Good to see you. Hey, would somebody please let me know if the sound's okay? That would be good. TBA, good to see you on. Ron Shack, good to see you on. Scott Taylor, hey. All right, I got a thumbs up. Hopefully that's for the sound, but I don't know for sure. Good. All right, I'm going to assume it's good. Now, just to let you know, the sync has been going nuts this morning. I checked it about, I've had the stream running for an hour because I'm so paranoid of it now. It's changing all over the place. It doesn't seem to be consistent. And so let me know if it starts getting out of sync. All right? So we're going to wait for folks, I think I'm going to just put in some, just play a little bit. We'll play some blues. You see I've got my my Chapman out. And we'll just play some blues, and then we'll get on with the lesson. All right. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Well, I think that's enough for sure. A little bit of A minor type stuff, right? It was an interesting backing track. I think it's the A minor to the D. It's a quick blues, so to the D, back to the A minor again, a couple bars. Then we got the D minor, and it sounds good with the minor sevenths, I think. Back to the A minor. And then it's an interesting thing. It goes to E minor, D minor, A minor, and then an E7 or an E dominant. I put on the sharp ninth on that one. But what's cool about that one is it allows you to play some pretty exotic stuff. So I was able to play some diminished runs, that kind of stuff as well. So kind of cool stuff. All right. Yeah. So definitely have this enjoying this Chapman guitar. It's kind of a different sort of thing. It's let me see if I can show it to you a little bit. It looks like a Les Paul. It's very thin, and compared to Les Paul, it's got cool binding, and you can see it's kind of a contoured body, so it's much more comfortable. The neck. Let me show you the neck on the back. Amazing neck joint, right? Look at that, and of course it's got the scoops like a Paul Reed Smith, which is nice. So you have access all the way up to the 24th, which is also kind of nice. Yeah, and it's got push-pull too, so some thinner sounds as well. So it's pretty versatile guitar. Rob did not give me a gift. I couldn't resist. I saw it on sale, so I did get it. So not a loaner. Well, it's probably a loaner because most of my guitars come in and out of my hands, but I will do that. Yeah, they're not expensive. This is the base model, so this would be I think is an Indonesian model. Yeah, this is an Indonesian model, but it seems pretty well built. It's the fretwork's pretty good. I got it used. Anyway, okay. So what's my strategy for soloing over chord changes? So that's a great question. I think I'll try and answer that. And nice double stops. Yeah, that phraseology. I mean, I don't know. It's a nice tempo, so it's not too fast. That chord at the end allows you to do some things that are maybe different. On this scale or on this particular chord sequence, you can wail on the A minor pentatonic all night long if you want to, but you have options to go to others. So what's my strategy? Yeah, and I was doing some octaves and also some chord work like that. That you can just kind of go through. But what's my strategy? I don't know. So I guess one way to do it, I don't know what my strategy was. I was just trying to think of things. And I found this one line I thought I kind of liked was this. I kind of like that line. I don't know why I like it. But you're ending on the third or the fifth of the chord. But you meant the Firefly was cheap, yeah. Well, this is pretty inexpensive though too. Anyway, it's not Firefly cheap. So strategy would just be, one of the ways that you can do it is you can pick a parent scale. Like in this case, I picked the A minor scale, right? So not the minor pentatonic because I like this note for the D minor. But this is diatonic to that. And then you go to the E minor. So it's all going to work over that. And but then be mindful of the chords and listen for them. And any chord tones that you can put in along the way are going to sound good. So, and then particularly on the on the 5 chord on the turnaround where it goes to the 7. This one right here. It goes to a dominant 5 chord. There's a number of key notes, but if you just think of the third of that chord, it's going to sound great. And the third of an E dominant is this. You don't have to play it, but whenever you play it, it sounds like you're really on that chord, and it sounds nice. So just something to keep in mind. All right? That I learned from Herb Ellis. Whenever you play a chord out of key, play the third of that chord, and it's always going to sound good. All right, anyway. Do I anchor my picking hand with 3 fingers? Is it better opposed to floating? I don't think it's better. I think it's probably worse to anchor. I try not to anchor too much, but I have a style where I kind of move backwards. So anyway. Do I jump in and out of the scales of other chords? No, I don't change scales. I don't change scales, folks. I mean, occasionally I do. Occasionally I play like a deliberate scale, like over the dominant. I might have played diminished. I'm having trouble with that right now. I don't know why, but anyway, or the double diminished. But that's only over the 5 chord where I might even think about doing things like that. The rest of it, if I'm playing over a chord, I might play the chord tones, or I might play, some scale note patterns around it. But I'm just really thinking about chords and chord tones. So, say for example, going to that D minor, I can play any of those notes. And any of those notes in a D minor chord are going to sound good, regardless of what scale they're coming from. So I don't try to think about changing scales always. I could. I think there's a lot of modal players who do, but I'm really not trying to think too much. I'm just trying to think of the ideas that are in my head, maybe trying to play them, make it sound. Yeah, so the double diminished, just so that you guys know, no problem, Scott, great questions, is a half step, or a half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, right? Whereas a diminished is always like a minor third. They're all minor thirds. So that would be diminished, and then double diminished would be, yeah. So there's both different patterns. But again, I try and play out of chords. I try and think of what would be the pattern for this chord. Like for an E chord, let me just play it. Let's go into the 9th lesson here. But if we take the A, now I'm going to take, instead of an A minor, I'm going to make that an A7. And if I want to play, the diminished out of that, I have this pattern right here. But I'm only thinking out of the third of the chord here. I don't know why I think that way, but all the scale stuff that I do is always, I think about chords first. I think about where that kernel of the chord is. And if I do that, and then I'm just playing around chords. So that just makes it easier for me. It makes my rhythm and my lead playing more integrated, maybe. I don't know. All right. Oh, hi, Garrett. All right, so I said I was going to talk about 9th chords today and their uses. So I'm going to just go down a little bit. Well, Frank is saying, I wish I could sit with you for a few hours and pick your brain. Well, that's what this is for, But no, I hear you. So, and you can see the black star that's there. I'm going to try and see if I can do some 9th stuff here. You can see it's getting cold. I'm wearing my flannel again. Got that up. So let's see. So we'll talk a little bit 9th chords, and then there's a couple of other things I want to talk about, and then we'll do the quiz. But 9th chords. So, what is a 9th chord? Well, a 9th chord, we're talking about dominant 9ths here. Okay, not major 9ths. So a dominant 9th chord is a chord that's made of the first of the chord. Let's play it for an A. Okay, so an A, if we're going to play an A major, right? we know that the A major is a triad that's made up the first, the third, and the fifth of the A major scale. All right, so that's a major triad. If we want to add seventh chords, the dominant seventh would be a flatted seventh from that scale. Okay, so in this case, it would be a G. If you think about it, just a second, I'm going to play an A major scale. Okay, so the dominant seventh would have, which is a flatted seventh. Okay, here's the seventh of the A, and then here's the flatted. And that's a very common sound, obviously. You know, it's sort of like the Pretty Woman sound or whatever. Pretty common chord. The ninth just adds the ninth or the second of that scale. So in this case, we're adding a B. So if we look at constructing a ninth chord from the A, from an a dominant ninth, we have the first, the third, the fifth, the flatted seventh, and the ninth. And the ninth is a B, right? It's one note above the A. All right, so that's how to construct it. But what's interesting is this is a 5-note chord, right, if you want to play it full. And I think most people already know this one. That's a D ninth. But there's lots of other cool voicings for ninth, and I just want to show you that. Let me show you a few of the voicings for this. So first of all, the voicing that we would use for a normal ninth is kind of a hard one. It's this. That's one way of playing it. So that's a hard one to finger, because you can see I'm barring across on something that's really close. It's kind of cramping my fingers. But basically, we can think about just taking any seventh chord and then adding a ninth to it. So let's try that. So here's one. If we take the seventh chord right here, we can add a ninth on the top. I have my pinky free, so I'm just going to play that on the B. That's the ninth. And that has all of them in there, right? So that's a ninth chord. Like I said, this is also a ninth chord right here, which is kind of interesting. It doesn't have it on the top, but that one works. And what I like about this one is that if I take with ninth chords, you can often take out the roots, or you take out the fifth, or even sometimes the third of the chord, and they still sound good. So for example, on this one, I can play just the kernel of the ninth, which would be this. And it sounds really nice. Right? So that's kind of cool. That's a good voicing. That's a really good voicing to know, is this one right here, that this is related to a ninth chord. Let me see if I can show that a little bit easier. Okay, so it's on the D string it's 5, and then on the G string it's 4, and on the B string it's 5 again. So that one's kind of good. You can see I'm only playing 4 notes, so that leaves some things out of there. So that's a cool voicing. Here's another voicing I really love of the ninth, is this one. That's a really useful one. Here I'm putting the root on the top. Robin Ford uses that voicing a lot. You can see it's kind of a good one. All right, so that's kind of a cool voicing. And yeah, so all those work. And there's even yet another one using the root right here. If you take sort of a seventh chord and then put the ninth on top. So all those are voicings kind of off of this root and this root and this root. So there's a ton of voicings that you can use. And I find they have different colors to them, which is kind of cool. And then, of course, we've got this voicing, which everybody knows. Oops. Right, with or without that top. The root here is on the 5th string, and then this. All right, so, you know, that's kind of cool. You can use the 9th chord. And now, so where do you use these things? Let's talk just a little bit of where we use these things. Because you can see they're really versatile chords. And I think it's good. I don't know about you, but I like to just play around with the voicings and kind of get them close and just kind of notice what's in there, because then that helps me notice other things. So, for example, well, actually, let me try this. So let's try talking about the blues for just a second. The blues is probably the most commonplace because you've got all dominant 7th chords that you can substitute, right? So you can substitute any 7th with a 9th and it sounds good. Instead of playing that, you might play. You know, that kind of stuff sounds really good. So that 9th works fine there. And likewise, over this one, instead of playing the 7th, you can just play the 9th. So that slide in there is used quite often, sliding the 9th up 2 frets and then back. And that works with most forms of the 9th. And, you know, that's like the Stormy Monday chords, right? People do that. And obviously Steely Dan and other people did that as well. So those are kind of cool. And you can add little extensions too. Like on this one, it's really easy. All right. Let's see, what else? What else can you do with them? So obviously, so you can use them in the blues by that. You can use them in funk. They work great. They work great in jazz as well. Because from the 2-5-1s, you can play like a minor 7, and then instead of playing the 7th form, you can play the 9th, and it's just really easy to slide your fingers there. So, for example, let's say I'm aiming for a 1 chord of G right there. I might play something like this. Those 9th chords just sound great there. All right, and it's just really easy to slide with both of those. Let's see, what else did I want to say? 9ths, like anything, you can use as approach chords, so it's easy to use like 1 fret up and then come down, or 1 fret below. Like Peter Frampton's Doobie Wah. You can do that kind of stuff, right? And then one other trick that I like that you can use with 7ths or 9ths chords, but it works great with 9th, is you can keep going up in minor thirds until you get to the place where you're ready to stop. Like, for example, this. Let's play all 9ths using the blues or something like that. So you see what I did right there? I just went up in minor thirds from this D. right to the next chord, which was also a ninth, right? Which is kind of good. So, just like sevenths, you can move them up on minor thirds. Lots of other things you can do with it, but anyway, I did want to show you one other thing, and that is, by learning different voicings, you should see how chords are related to each other. Like, for just the fact that you can do this should show you that, for example, this ninth chord right here, which is a D ninth, is very related to an A minor, right? Because the top three strings are exactly the same. And especially if you can add notes like this. So that means, to a certain extent, that you can substitute an A minor for a D ninth. So that's kind of interesting thing to know, because you can do that when you're soloing. You can play over an A minor pentatonic instead of a D dominant, right? Instead of playing a D dominant, a D minor arpeggio, for example. You don't have to play that. You don't have to know that. You can just play over an A minor, and it's almost exactly the same. Which is kind of cool. And you should be able to see that because of the form, right? This looks like an A minor. It's just got a little funky note there, which, by the way, happens to be the third. So if you come to that third, remember what I said before about thirds of chords? If you come to the third of that chord, which in this case is an F sharp, you're going to sound like you're really playing over that. Anyway, so that's some stuff. And even this one right here, I'll show you this one. So this is the kernel of this A minor. Well, this is like an E minor triad, right? You should see that. That's an E minor triad. So that means I might be able to play an E minor over that one chord, right? So if I'm playing, say a... It actually sounds pretty good. So I can play an E minor or E minor seventh over that one chord, which is an A7. All right, well, anyway, I think that's a lot of theory, but it's all based on really looking at the shapes and the different voicings. And if you start out with just understanding, hey, a ninth is just it's the 1, the 3, the 5, the flat at 7th, and the ninth. And the ninth is really the second, right, of the scale. Ninth is one above the octave. Those are the things that function there. All right. Anyway, that's ninths. That is ninths for you. All right. So let's see. John Mayer is good or bad? Let me see. Let me catch up a little bit. Oh, Ginger Baker. Yeah, I noted that in what I did. Yeah, it's too bad he died. He was 80 though. He lived a full life. For a rocker, that's a long time to live. Jerry McGee just passed. I didn't know that. John Mayer doesn't grab TBA's interest. That's interesting. I think John Mayer's, I don't know, probably the best player after 2000. Popular, anyway. I mean, in rock genre. Some other players are pretty good, too. That's for sure. Tom Morello and stuff. There should be an emoji for spitting, and I would use it every time someone says John Mayer is good. Really? I just don't understand that. He's really good. All right. Are you playing out these days, Mark? I'm not, actually, but I'm looking to do so. I'm actually doing a project. I should tell you guys about this. So I'm doing a project with a guy from New Zealand. We're going to do some 70s rock songs and put them together. Doing probably some some verbatim lessons, a little bit more in depth with high quality tabs and backing tracks and stuff. So that's what we're doing. All right. 9 chords are based on the 9th fret of the guitar. No, Matt. No. No, it's the 9th note of a scale. 9th note of a scale. Or the 2nd of a scale. Yep. All right. All right. Let's see. Have I ever thought about putting out a paid course? Yes, this is going to be a paid course. It will be a paid course because there's just too much work that we have to do together to make it happen, and it's an interesting joint project. He's I'm trying to remember his last name, but he's Phil at 15 Minute Guitar, and he does an incredible Hendrix. He did a Jimi Hendrix project. He does an incredible Hendrix stuff. So that's why I wanted to do this with him, and so forth. Make it reasonable. Well, what's reasonable, TBA? Reasonable for you or reasonable for me? I mean, the reality is we'll ask for pay, but we'll probably get less than $1 an hour for it. I mean, that's how that works. All right. Yes, and added ninths. So David Smith asked the question, added ninths are different. Yes, they are different, and so are major ninths. So just to give you the difference in the sound, actually, I should have done this. But the difference, let's take a D ninth, right? So I'm going to play the D ninth right here, the one that most of us know, even if you weren't following all the other fingerings. Here's the D ninth right here, right? And here's a D major ninth. Oops, I should play it right. Hear the difference there? Okay, so what's different there is when we're playing this D ninth right here, right? It has a flatted seventh. The flatted seventh of D, the seventh of D is C sharp, so the flatted seventh would be C. So it has that tougher, sort of bluesier sound. The major is right here, which is a C sharp, and that has, I don't know how you'd want to describe that sound, kind of an open, final sound. Yeah. The major ninth, you either love it or you hate it. I think, I'm sort of in I tend toward the love side of that, but people either love or hate those sounds. Personally, I like the sixths a lot. I like sounds of sixths a lot. So that's also a majory type of sound. It works a lot in like jump blues and swing jazz. They use the sixth a lot. Yeah. Yeah, there's a slight sound of unresolvedness to it. It's kind of like a 6/9 chord, if you're playing a 6/9 chord. It's a lot like a 6/9 chord. Oddly, people use that at the end. It's most commonly used at the end of a thing. So it is a resting chord. It's not a chord that's going anywhere. It might sound unresolved, but it doesn't really go anywhere. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, definitely very jazzy. Yep. The major sixth chord. Yeah, the major sixth is very similar to the ninth. In fact, it's just sort of like taking that. This is an A major sixth, right? It's sort of like just taking that D major ninth and changing the bass note. So those two chords are basically the same, which is kind of an interesting thing. If you're playing, it's related to fourths, or there's a relation to fourths. So you can understand building up chords from fourths and from stacking fourths instead of stacking thirds. I don't claim to know too much about that, but what is interesting is that a lot of the things are the same. So you'll find that when you're playing 6/9 chords, you can move them around a lot and they kind of sound the same. So for example, this D 6/9, is a lot like the A6/9. And you can play all kinds of stuff like that, and it sounds very jazzy if you're playing that kind of thing. All right. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Hey, yeah. So what I am doing is, I'm doing that project, and I'm also doing a lot of in my own work. I'm doing a lot of I'm transcribing some Christmas songs, some secular Christmas songs, or more secular Christmas songs, if there is such a thing. But not the hymns and things like that. So I'll have some stuff to give you then, and I'm also working on a lot of stuff from the 1930s. So Eddie Lang and Carl Kress and stuff like that, and that takes a lot of work. So, yeah. So, sleigh rides, yeah, sleigh rides. All right. Hey, I wanted to do a couple of other things before we get on with the quiz. I'm still playing with a friend who planned to have on the channel. I haven't done that. He's got 2 little kids, and I've been traveling a lot with a new job, and we just haven't been playing. And he plays all Django, and it just, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I should play some of that stuff. I mean, that's more improvisational. The stuff that I'm working on with the swing is more set pieces, but I haven't been playing with him lately. But, he's a good friend. We go out to eat once in a while. Just have him with the wives. He's a good bit younger than I am, so he's a hard person to nail down. Hey, I wanted to I'll put this down for just a second. Somebody noticed the other day that I was using this pick. Let me see if I can. This pick. All right, let me see if I can get this close. All right, so it's a Dava pick, and they said something about how it was not the jazz size. I just wanted to show people. I've been experimenting with a lot of picks. I'm not saying I like this one. This is not. I do. It's okay, but it's not my favorite. Here is the normal size Dava pick, and you can see that they're different sizes. Let me see if I can have them both up. Let's see if I can do them both on here. It's pretty hard to see, I guess. Maybe I tell you what. Maybe I'll tilt it down. Yeah, that would work. I'll tilt it down, and I'm going to point to a few of these that I've been using lately, and what I haven't used in the past. So, yeah, okay, so that's good. So you can see sort of a, hello. There we go. So this is the normal size Dava pick. And this is the jazz sized. I've migrated to using jazz picks almost exclusively now. Jazz size picks. Almost exclusively. And you can see that it's bigger than the jazz. This is the Dunlop jazz. It's actually bigger than the Dunlop jazz. And I was kind of disappointed about that. But here's a normal size pick. That's a Dunlop normal sized. And here's also the jazz size pick, which would be my favorite, except it's in perfect lose me all the time yellow. And then, see if I can keep this in. And then, so hard to keep this in focus. Sorry, folks. And then here's my John Petrucci picks, which I use forever. But I have really settled on these 2 Acrolux picks. I just find that they're perfect. They're jazz size, and they have a good stickiness to them. The only problem is that they're expensive. So, oh well. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I like that. I should see if I can show one more. Check this out. With Matt Delahunt, who's on here, got me to try and do some other ones. This one's a Brian May style thing, because I was using a coin. And this actually works pretty well. When you play with it, it works pretty well. But it is tiny. Here's my hand. It's tiny compared even to the jazz. So, anyway. Maybe we'll do more on Pics some other time to compare some of those, but I've really been more hooked on all the jazz-sized Pics these days. They're just, I just find I have so much more, control. I like the Dava Pics if I'm going to do any sort of strumming. It's kind of nice because you can back off on them, and they get a little bit looser. If you play back here, they're kind of loose, and if you play up here, they're kind of tight. I just wish they were a little bit smaller. They're just a little too big for me. All right. So let's see. So I wanted to talk about that. And let's see. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, yeah. So I got a comment on my channel this week. Yeah, I like the alt text. The grip isn't good for you. Okay. The grip is okay for me. Primetown Jazz 1 through 4. So I'll try that one, GMAC, because I like this is a prime tone. This was a prime tone. Let's see if I can. Yeah, but it's just too damn big for me. So I need the smaller thing. I like the grippiness of it. They're good. I might try that. All right. Joe Bonamassa pick that came with his signatures. Oh yeah, I mean I play the Eric Johnson picks as well. You know, the thing is you can play exactly like Eric Johnson if you use them. You're right. Oh well. Let's see here. So, oh yeah, I wanted to ask you guys. So I got a comment on the channel this week about how ridiculous it was to talk about underrated guitar players. And I thought, you know, this is a perennial topic that everybody seems to like to talk about. And the guy was, you know, called it bullshit is what he used. He said, oh, why does everybody talk about the bullshit about so-and-so's underrated? And they're famous and they're rich, so they must not be underrated. I guess in that sense, that's probably true. This came up in the context of Elliot Easton. And but it's all relative, isn't it? Right? I just think it's all relative. Like some people are rated very highly, even though they, you know, they may not have contributed as much. Does Mark Zabel have his picks? So I am going to try and get some picks. What the heck? Why not? Oh, El Rondo punches a hole in his alt text. Okay, that makes sense. I think you're right, David Smith. Not all guitar players are rich and famous. I mean, take Pete Anderson for example. So Pete Anderson was Dwight Yoakam's guitarist. Now this is country, and I don't know if he's poor, but he seems to be selling a lot of his old guitars, and I don't know. My guess is he's not all that rich. Very few people know him. Yeah, and guys like Guthrie Govan, they work all the time. They're always touring and so forth. All right. Yep. And Greg Koch. Yeah, Greg Koch's an amazing guitar player, right? But most people don't know him. I mean, let's face it, you know, people, there's a difference. The reason why somebody mentioned John Mayer earlier, so I'm going to mention him now. I mean, John Mayer fills stadiums, right? It's because people come to see a singer and they'll admire a singer's play, but that's not, you know, it's rare that they're going to come to do that. I mean, somebody like Roy Buchanan's, well, he's dead, but he was always going to be a fringe sort of famous. But, yeah, Rory was never rich. That's true. Yeah, it's just weird. I agree, Mark Siebes, that I answered the guy once and I gave my opinion. He wasn't bitching about it, but then he came back with a kind of a bitching about it, and I just thought, you know, why bother? And I think, you know, Sean Daniel had a question on his as well about, is Hendrix overrated, or why do people say that Hendrix is the best ever when Eric Johnson and Steve Vai can obviously play anything he played, and they're great composers too. And I'm firmly in the Hendrix camp. I think you guys know, but I just think it's an interesting thing. I never want to diss on somebody like Steve Vai or Eric Johnson. I mean, they take musicianship to a high level, but it's just, to me, it's not the same as being a creator and being an influencer. I mean, and being a communicator. I mean, I think there's a reason why we still listen to The Wind Cries Mary. It's because it really kind of speaks to us strongly, and in ways that Eric Johnson songs don't. Yep, and yeah, and I mean, again, I would never diss on people like Gary Moore or Craig Koch or anything like that. They're incredible players, and I think they would be the first to. I know, in fact, Greg Koch is one of the first people who acknowledges Jimmy is an absolute great player. He loves Jeff Beck, loves Jimmy, loves Jimmy Page. So, yeah. All right. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you because I thought that was, basically, I wrote a fairly long reply about, like, this is a perennial topic that I get, that people like to talk about. They find it interesting. That's why it's not bullshit. But I decided not to send because what am I going to convince the guy that he's being a jerk? It's sort of like getting angry at the guy for cutting you off on the road, right? What are you going to do? Catch him at the light and call him an asshole? All right. Anyway. All right. I just got demonetized on YouTube. Okay. Let's see. Let's do our quiz today. Yeah, most of the time I don't. But sometimes I kind of like have the way of just kind of answering somebody straight, as if I'm not feeling their anger or anything like that. I'll just answer it straight. Demonetized for saying a-hole. Okay, it's pretty deep in this though, so who knows? Okay, so let's see. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't know. They do the kids stuff, right? So it may happen. Okay, so this quiz is this is called Year One. Hey, Spardella Julio. So this is called Year One. So this is every answer to these questions is a song from 1951, 1961, 1971, 1981, 1991, 2001, or 2011. Okay? So here we go. So the answer is always a song. All right? Let's see if we can do this one. One for kids of all ages, right? Okay. 1981 song about a hometown boy born and raised in South Detroit. 1981 song about a hometown boy born and raised in South Detroit. That's right. GMAC comes through. Don't Stop Believing. Don't Stop Believing. Yeah, the reason I remember that is there is no South Detroit. I grew up in Detroit, no such thing. All right, that's the Detroit River. All right. All right. Don't Stop Believing. Okay, Read Between Lines and Kevin, good to see you. Kevin Satchel and Read Between Lines, David Smith. Ron Shack. Okay, a few people got it. GMAC, of course, got it. All right, so here we go. So the next question is, this is what Al Green urged, whether times are good or bad, happy or sad, in 1971. That's right, TBA, no east side of Chicago. This is what Al Green urged, whether whether times are good or bad, happy or sad, in 1971. G-Mac is a demon. G-Mac gets it like 30 seconds before anybody else. Ron Shack, David Smith. All right, see you, Frank. Have fun at Sam's Club or Walmart or whatever you're going to do. Kevin gets it. David Smith. Yeah, me too. Al Green's my fave. Love him. Okay. Here's a toughie. Here's a toughie one. Funky grunge hit from the Chili Peppers in which the lyrics say, what I've got, you got to give it to your mama. What I've got, you got to give it to your papa. Oh, G-Mac got it already. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. That's right, David Smith. Yeah, that's, what is it? Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic. Great album. Great album. That's got Under the Bridge too, right? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Queen and David Bowie teamed up to do this song, later riffed off by Vanilla Ice. Queen and David Bowie teamed up to do this song, later ripped off by Vanilla Ice. G-Mac, that was unbelievable. All right, G-Mac gets it. Mark Siebes, Geert, Elf for me. Hey, Elf, good to see you. Kevin, David Smith. All right. Here we go. This is a toughie again. This is a toughie for most of us who are a little bit young or a little bit older. So let's see. Train's song in which they asked, did you make it to the Milky Way to see the lights all faded and that heaven is overrated? Train's song, 2001, in which they asked, did you make it to the Milky Way to see the lights all faded and that heaven is overrated? Read Between the Lines and TBA get Drops of Jupiter. One of the... I love that song, actually. I really like that song quite a bit. Kevin Satchel, AC Ferguson. Hey, how you doing, AC? All right. Song in which Hank Williams asks, what you got cooking? Song in which Hank Williams asks, what you got cooking? Good. Glad to hear it, AC. Hey, good looking, what you got cooking? That's right. A lot of people getting this. Mark Siebes, Read Between Lines, G-Mac, Geert, Bobby Boy. Hey, Bobby Boy. Kevin Satchel, Ron Sack, Elf for me, Embry. Hey, Embry, good to see you. Tone Seeker. Okay, a lot of people getting that one. Okay, America was riding through the desert on this 1971 hit. America was riding through the desert on this 1971 hit. G-Mac, TBA, Nemo Unknown. Hey, Nemo Unknown. Geert, L for me, Mark Siebes, Read Between the Lines, Kevin Satchel, AC Ferguson, Ron Shack, Bobby Boy, Robbie Love, David Smith. A lot of people getting that one. Okay. Hot tamales. The Marvelettes did the song about a mail carrier, later covered by the Beatles. 1961. Horse with no aim. G-Mac almost gets it. Read Between Lines, close. There it is. Elf getting Please Mr. Postman. I mean, that's close enough for sure. TBA, Nemo Unknown, Robbie Love, Mark Siebes, Geert, AC, Ron Shack, Kevin, G-Mac. Horse with no mane. Horse with no name. Okay. This was a 1981 cover of an old song that asks you to put another dime in the jukebox, baby. 1981 cover of an old song that asks you to put another dime in the jukebox, baby. And the Carpenters, that's right. Elf gets I Love Rock and Roll. GMAC gets it. Nemo Unknown. All right. I Love Rock's Roll. I Love Rock and Roll. Okay. An extra. That was Joan Jett. Joan Jett. An extra bonus point for the person who can name the Weird Al Yankovic parody of that song. Anybody name the Weird Al Yankovic parody? About ice cream. I Love Rocky Road. Yeah, I Love Rocky Road ice cream. All right. Okay. Let's see. When Ricky Nelson said this to her, it was Goodbye Heart. When Ricky Nelson said this to her in 1951, it was Goodbye Heart. I'm sorry, 1961. Hello, Mary Lou. That's right, GMAC, TBA, Elf Hermie, David Smith, Read Between the Lines, Tone Seeker. Oh, maybe not. Kevin. Is that cool? That's right, AC. Okay, cool. Oh, AC, is it Tony? Your open mic stuff. I'd love to come to that someday. Southern Ontario. All right. Mark Siebes, Ron Shack, David Smith. Okay, let's see. A Stones song from 1981. If you do this, I will never stop. If you do this, I'll never stop. GMAC gets it. Start Me Up. Geert, Nemo. Kevin. TBA, Mark Siebes, Read Between the Lines. Good. A lot of people playing along today. That's good. Okay. Song from a prog rock band that bears the name of a Mark Twain novel. The character has mean, mean pride. The modern day warrior has mean, mean pride. That's right, Mark Siebes, Tom Sawyer. Nemo Unknown, Kevin Satchel. Luke, hey Luke. GMAC. GMAC said Aqualung. That was a little off. TS. I didn't give the year. Tom Sawyer from Moving Pictures, that's right. Yeah, Bobby Boy, these guys are really fast. You have to have a quick interwebs, you know. Okay, let's see. Here's a toughie. Maybe if Matt Delahunt's around, he'll get it. Emotional Pearl Jam song from their debut album, never released as a single. It charted at number 3 anyway. The pictures have all been washed in this color, tattooed everything. Alive was a single. That's right, Luke Vran. Luke Vran comes in with Black. That's right, Black. Alive is very emotional too. Is there anything that that Pearl Jam does that isn't emotional? Mark Siebes gets it. GMAC. Ron Shack. How could it chart if it was not released? It was not released as a single. It was not released as a single. Yep. They really made sure it wasn't released as a single. But anyway, went up to number 1. Yeah, he has a direct line. All right. According to U2, this is how she moves in this 1991 hit. I agree, David. Elf Hermie, Mysterious Ways. GMAC, Mysterious Ways. Nemo Unknown. Mark Siebes, Luke Fran. Read Between the Lines. Yeah, that was good, Elf. You came in there quickly. Okay. Ray Charles says, "Don't You Come Back" in this song. In his 1961 song, Ray Charles says, "Don't You Come Back." GMAC, Elf, Robbie Love. Luke Vrand gets the next line for sure. Read between the lines. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back. No more, no more, no more, no more. All right, a lot of people got that. Kevin, TBA, Scott Taylor. What? That's not right. All right, let's see. Oh, here's a toughie. Tiny Bradshaw hit, later covered by Aerosmith. If you get this one, you're on a roll. Tiny Bradshaw hit from 1951, later covered by Aerosmith. If you get this, you are on a roll. Bowling for Soup? No, not Mamakin. All right, the Aerosmith one is very rock, like doom, dun 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 dun, with a heave and a ho, and I just couldn't tell her so. That's right, Train Kept a Rollin'. That's a 1951 song. Yeah, kind of cool. Tiny Bradshaw. Okay, let's see. Sam Cooke, a song urging someone to let his arrow go straight into his lover's heart. See you, El Rondo. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you're feeling great. That's right, G-Mac, Geert, L for me, Cupid, Nemo Unknown, Scott Taylor, AC, or Tony, Kevin, David Smith. Sounds good, El Rondo. Read between the lines. Bye-bye. Okay. Let's see. Here's the only one that I could come up with from 2011. A Maroon 5 hit with a Stone singer in the title. A Maroon 5 hit from 2011 with a Stone singer in the title. Elf got it. Mark Siebes. Garrett, TBA. Yep. My son was a little kid, Luke Vran. My son was a little kid at that time, and he always thought it was Moves Like Jaguar. So he thought that was kind of a cool thing, like somebody could move like a jaguar. I thought that was pretty neat. Yeah, G-Mac was being nice to us on that one. What a maroon. Okay. Here we go. Jackie Brenston and his Delta Cats had a hit with this song. Later in the same year, it was Bill Haley's first hit. Some say it was the very first rock and roll record. 1951. Jackie Brenston and his Delta Cats had a hit with this. Later in the same year, it was Bill Haley's first hit. Some say it was the first rock and roll record. No, it predates Rock Around the Clock. It predates it. Come on, TBA. Yeah, you're right. Rock Around the Clock is really awesome. There, Ron Shack gets it. Rocket 88. Rocket 88. It actually predates the Comets. So I forget what he was called. It was like Bill Haley and the somethings. But it's before the Comets. The Comets formed in 1952. 1952. I love Bugs Bunny. All right. That was kind of cool, though. I was looking that one up. I didn't know that, but I looked at... Yeah. Shake, Rattle, and Roll. Ike Turner. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's get a few more. This was a huge grunge hit. Perhaps the biggest grunge hit of all time. 1991. Hello, 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 how low. See you, Tony. Rocket 88 by Ike Turner, yeah. It Smells Like Teen Spirit, that's right. G-Mac and Mark Siebes got that one. I probably could have come up with a better clue. Nirvana. Yep, now some people are getting it. Robbie Love. Entertain Us. Yep, Kevin gets it. Okay, let's do a few more. This 1995 hit has the words, like a dog without a bone, like an actor out on loan. Like a Dog Without a Bone, an actor out on loan. 1971. Read Between the Lines, Riders on the Storm, Mark Siebes, TBA. Weird Al did a version of Teen Spirit? I didn't know that. Okay, let's just do a couple more here. Let's see, what didn't I do? This is an interesting thing. I was looking this up. Smells Like Nirvana. Nickelback hit from 2001, when they were still okay. Nickelback hit from 2001. Apparently, it is the number one played song on the U.S. radio in 2000s. The title is finished with Of What I Really Am. GMAC gets it with How You Remind Me. That is a good song. That's a good song. Okay. Let's see. Do we want to do a couple more? Oh, we'll do this one just because it's fun. This was a 2001 song, Jim Eats World song, featuring an absolutely killer guitar solo and a video with everyone in their underwear at a party. Everything, everything, everything will be just fine. Elf, The Middle. Read Between the Lines, The Middle. Yeah, great. Glad a couple of people got that one. Kevin says, I refuse to answer a Nickelback clue. Yeah. Kevin, that's a good... I like that Jim Eats World song. It's a good song. Okay, two more. This was a 1951 song. Les Paul and Mary Ford had their biggest hit with this jazz classic. Les Paul and Mary Ford had a hit with this jazz classic in 1951. I agree, Kevin. I should do that. The Middle. I was listening to it. I'm like, yeah, I should do this. GMAC gets it. How High the Moon? So does Geert. That if you want to know one jazz song, that's a good one to know. June Christie's version of singing that's just incredible. She was a great singer. Yep. Yeah, I love the Les Paul and Mary Ford one too. Yep. Yeah, I'll do The Middle. I'll do that one. It's a good song. Good song. Okay, last one. 1971. Oh, that's not good. Your Google. No, I haven't seen that one, GMAC. I haven't seen Les's video of that. All right, last one, gang. If there's a bustle in your hedgerow, don't be alarmed now, in this classic song. If there's a bustle in your hedgerow, don't be alarmed now, in this classic song. 1971, Hairway to Steven. You got it. Stairway to Heaven. GMAC with Stairway to Heaven. Geert, Mark Siebes, Robbie, Read Between Lines. TBA, doesn't sound familiar. Nemo on Loan. Luke Vrand, Kevin, Tone Seeker. Oh, Highway to Hell. All right. I like it. You took the opposite road. David Smith. All right. Banned in music shops. That's right. All right, gang. So that's our quiz for today. Hope you enjoyed that one. I kind of like that. I was spurred on by doing that. So yeah, I'll do that Jim Eats World one. That's a good one. I was listening to it yesterday. I'm like, yeah. Sticks. Too much time on my hands. Thank you, Geert. Yeah, I figured you were just kidding, Tone Seeker. Elevator to heaven for all you lazy Ron. You know, I had an advisor once in my he was like this when I did my master's degree in electrical engineering. He was a guy from he was totally old school, and he was a believer that you didn't go to the gym. That was something stupid. Why didn't you just walk or ride your bike to work? You know, he came from He came from Europe, and it's just, that's how he kept in shape, was riding to work every day. And the department had this was in the 90s fitness rage. And so the department had a meeting, and they said, what can we do for fitness? And people said all these different things, like we could get gym memberships for people, or we could do this. And he said, so very sarcastically, he said, let's put Stairmasters in all the elevators. I thought that was really funny. Anyway, that was my favorite joke of his. All right. So anyway, gang, we can just hang out a little bit. Oh, blue collar. Yeah, let me write down a few of these. Ron always... I never promised to do them all, but I like the middle. And I'll do some Styx song. I mean, Blue Collar Man's good, for sure. Time on My Hands. That one's not bad. That's before the Robots, right? Isn't that before the Robots? Yeah, I hear you, G-Mac. Michigan humor, yeah. Well, it was Ohio, actually. It was Ohio State. Yeah, I know. I'm weird. I grew up in Detroit. Everybody in my family at that time was a Michigan fan, and I went to Ohio State. So there you go. Too Much Time on My Hands. Blue Collar by BTO. Oh, that's right. Blue Collar by BTO. But I think you were talking about Blue Collar Man by Styx, right? Blue Collar BTO. The Ohio State. Yes. That happened when I was there. The Ohio State. Oh, is that right, Kevin? You went to MSU. Okay. I had a girlfriend, so I did a lot of time up in East Lansing. I had a girlfriend at Michigan State. Yakeley Hall. Yep. The main solo on Taking Care of Business. Okay. I thought I did, but anyway. Taking Care of Business. I will do that one. Go Green. I did the second one, which is shorter. Oh, I thought I did the Long Way There. Tone Seeker, by whom? All right. Hey, thanks, Mark. I appreciate you coming by. Thanks, Mark Siebes. Good to see you today. I'm going to head out, too. My throat is really hurting. I've got a cold or something like that, so I've been... White Man by Queen. Yeah. I like it. I like that song a lot. It's a lot of work. People don't seem to like Queen that much. I don't know why. My Queen videos don't do well at all. Little River Band. Oh, Little River Band. Okay. Oh, I'll check that out, Geert. Adrian Woodward. Yeah, I like his channel. He's good. Okay, hey Nemo, thanks for stopping by. Always great to see you. Feed has gone here. Okay. Anything by ELO or ELP? I don't know. What do you think? Read between lines. The black screen? Uh-oh. Let me see. Well, it still seems to be going. I think it's still going. Maybe it's you. Yeah. All right. Yeah. See ya, G-Mac. Reminiscing. Oh, Reminiscing is good. Didn't I do that one? Oh, somebody asked me for that one. recently, reminiscing. Okay. I'm going to write that one down. Okay. All right, gang. I am going to take off. It looks like people are having some trouble with the feeds as well. And I think I'm going to get going. And yeah, we'll just see. See, I've been working on 8 Miles High. 8 Miles High. Yeah, I don't like the picking and it's like out of sync and stuff. I don't know. There's a lot of mistakes in that one, I think. It is a toughie. Clarence White was awesome. Yeah, I agree, Garrett. It's a toughie. Okay, hey, thanks, Bobby boy. Appreciate it. Lucky man. You're the cat. Kevin, I did You're the Cat. I did You're the Cat. I did both the acoustic and the electric solos. So check that one out. Ronnie Woods. What would we be, baby, without us? Family Ties team. Elf, I'm going to pass on that one. Yeah, I like Al Stewart a lot. I like Al Stewart's stuff from that time. Time Passages, Broadway Hotel. Great stuff. Hey, Tone Seeker, thanks for stopping by. All right. Gold on the Ceiling by the Black Keys. I don't know that one. Buchanan Sleeve. Good to see you, by the way. I'm going to write some of these down. All right. All right, I'm going to head off, and I will see you guys. Lucky Man by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Okay, I'll check it out. Let's see what... I mean, it's a great song. I'm the guitar is kind of drawing a blank for me right now. All right, gang. Hey, thanks as always for sharing your Sunday with me. Always appreciated, and great to see you. Oh yeah, Alf, you mentioned Halloween's stuff. Do me a favor, and if you like that stuff, put a comment on my channel or put a comment in this video or something like that, and we'll do it. Monster Mash, maybe. All right, we'll see you guys all down the road. We'll see you on down the road, as Ron Shack said. Have a great week, everybody. I'm going to be traveling, so I hope I'm going to be able to put something out on Thursday and maybe Saturday. I don't know. People didn't like this one on Saturday. It is what it is. I love the R&B stuff. I love Eddie Floyd stuff, so it is what it is. But yeah, we'll put something out. We'll see ya a little bit later. Hey, do.